First question is from Joe Gauss. What's the deal with the Quaich? I had a drink of whiskey offered to me in one at a Highland festival by a clan representative. I understand it's a welcoming/friendship tradition, but what's the story behind the Quaich? What's the deal? What's the deal with the Quaich?
It's a cup of welcome. So you pour in. Well, I'm not going to pour this. You pour scotch into the Quaich, and there's two handles so you can hand it to the other person.
Mm-hmm.
It's a shared cup kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a. What else is there to say about it?
So glad you asked.
Lovely.
The origins of where this came from are actually kind of mysterious. There is a tradition that it definitely was a Highland thing first. Okay, it didn't catch on in any of the lowlands until like the 18th century and early 19th century. Surprise, surprise. Like so many other things. There was a story that it started from Highlanders using shells, like scallop shells, to drink whiskey out of. But it's since been thought that only was a reference to a passage in the Ossian sagas, which are those fake Celtic Gallic
kind of thing.
Epic poems of which were actually kind of fake. So that was one story. There is a possibility that it was the idea came from bleeding bowls from England, which I find very odd. But there's still an entry in an encyclopedia somewhere, like Encyclopedia Britannica, circa 1914, tried to say, oh yes, well they got the idea from medieval bleeding bows used in England and Wales, and a bleeding bowl is basically what you'd catch blood in when you were, being a barber surgeon. Yeah, well, not killing somebody, but bloodletting for healing. Yeah, that seems stupid to me. There is evidence that other cultures on the continent did have bowls like this, and there is some that come from the Baltic, which are made the same way with the handles and with the original construction, which is kind of like staves of wood, like a barrel, which is how you make a traditional Quaich. Mm-hmm. That's how like the old archaeological specimens are like that. The silver stuff came later. So I think it was brought into the Highlands by Nordic settlers in the area. I think it was probably a drinking vessel that came over with the people coming on the boats.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, I think so. Okay. And I personally, and I don't have a basis for this, but it's...
Now, how sure are you of this? Is this...
I know those drinking vessels exist.
Okay.
There are specimens from the Middle Ages of double-handled, wood-stave constructed drinking vessels from the Baltic.
Okay.
Right. And then I know that there's... I know it's from the Highlands. I think the medieval... It was a bowl that was used elsewhere and just came north, like other things, like from England.
Right.
The shell thing is almost certainly a myth, because there's no evidence of that prior to the Ossian poems in the 18th century, and it's just it's a gut feeling.
Okay.
That last part is purely speculation on my part.
That's where I'm trying to get to, is what is fact and what is speculation. Okay.
Yeah. That's my and I know that from my experience with Scandinavian traditions and everything, then the whole idea of passing a horn around as a token of shared toasting was a thing, and I feel like the bowl was in place of a drinking horn in some capacity.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's not just necessarily somebody coming to your house, but you pass it from person to person to person, going around in a circle. And the handles just make it easier for doing that.
Okay.
So don't know. It's definitely related to things like porringers. There's also a Sami bowl, which only has one handle, but it's the same kind of a deal. You know who the Sami are? Sure.
Let's pretend I do.
Sami are native peoples in like Norway and Finland and stuff. So, Laplanders.
Okay.
So I think it's one of those small things that came over and nobody knows exactly when, but the tradition definitely developed and really caught fire in the 18th and 19th century.
Yeah.
Yeah, it became a poetic, romantic expression then.
Yeah.
Prior to that, it was probably still had some traditions attached to it, but was a little bit more practical, less ostentatious.
Yeah. Now it's more the symbolism that is in it.
Yeah, like I think people would probably use one to welcome to their home on a regular basis back in the old days, but slowly but surely it just became much more ritualized, and then it became paying the piper at the wedding, and then doing the thing with the bride and the groom at the wedding, and people don't use them very often except at weddings anymore. So the fact that his clan chief or clan representative offered him a drink out one is awesome. It'd be great if more people were doing more of it.
Agreed. Maybe not during COVID, but
No, probably
Yeah.
not.
Indeed.
You have disposable quakes. You just have like a liner. You just drink out of it and then just toss the liner and refill it.
Yeah, but you have to get all of it out. Well,
I don't know.
okay.
But anyway, yeah, it's not. It's an old tradition, but nobody knows exactly how old. That's what
Yeah.
it comes down to.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Hope that helped.
Thank you for watching. Quakes are kind of cool and kind of mysterious. What are some other aspects of Scottish, Irish, Gaelic culture that you're curious about? Tell us in the comments what you want to learn more about. We want to learn with you. In the meantime, check out these videos over here for some more interesting tidbits.